I just read Excellence, Volume 1, and I don't even have the words to sum this up right now. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. Now, if you're new around here, I do comic book reviews, unboxings, hauls, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that type of content, hit the subscribe button, then hit the bell icon so that you're notified when I post new videos. Now, if you've been paying attention to this channel, you know I pretty much have a strict one video per day rule. I am breaking that rule for this video, for this book. So let's just jump right into it, right? I just read Excellence, Volume 1. Excellence, written by Brandon Thomas, artwork by Khary Randolph. It's out now from Image and Skybound, and it is just an amazing series. So as of this recording, Excellence is ongoing. Issue 10 is the most recent issue. We're waiting on a volume 2 of a trade paperback that's due out in June. But what I just read was volume 1, which is issues 1 through 6 of the series. And the reason I just read volume 1 of this book is because right now, as of this recording, there is a Kickstarter for the deluxe hardcover collecting the first 9 issues of Excellence. Bro. So I heard about this book because of the Kickstarter. I saw an ad on Facebook or somewhere. Somehow I heard about this book, and it looked interesting enough. The artwork looked amazing. The actual build of the book looked really cool. So I went ahead and backed it because it was the first day of the campaign and there was a discount if you backed in the first day. I think like $45. But then I got curious, and so I read issue 1 on Comixology Unlimited because they had it there for free, right? I read issue 1, loved it. So then I was like, you know what? I don't want to wait for this story, right? So I bought volume 1 of the trade paperbacks, but I bought it digitally. And so those first 6 issues, I bought them and I read them. Like, I literally could not stop reading this book. And it was funny because I would read an issue and then like I would want to move on to the next issue, but I would also just want to read that issue again. And there were so many layers. So let's go with a quick synopsis real quick. So Excellence is a story about Spencer Dales. Spencer was born into a magical family. He doesn't manifest his magical powers until later on in his life. And because he doesn't manifest those powers, he doesn't get the affection of his father in the way that, most people would like it, right? And so this story, it kind of follows him as he's being defined by this hatred, this bitterness, this lack of approval from his father. So something happens to his grandmother. His grandmother gets sick, and he basically makes a decision to try to help her that really kind of sets this whole world on fire. And that's really, I don't want to say too much. This is going to be a spoiler-free review. The reason I'm doing this video right now is because the Kickstarter is still going on, right? As of right now, I'm recording this on Thursday. The Kickstarter ends Wednesday, March 24th. And so I wanted to go ahead and put this video out just in case you're like me, you've never heard of this book, and you need it in your life as much as I did. Now, you guys, you've heard me use this word a couple of times in reviews, right? This is one of those books that was just necessary. This is one of those books that I did not know I needed, but as soon as I read it, I couldn't put it down. And I am so excited that this book is a part of my library, and this will never be a book that is not in my collection. right? Like, I got so excited after I read this that I went and tracked down the single issues on eBay. So I'm going to own the single issues. I own it digitally. I backed the Kickstarter for the hardcover. This series is a staple. This is going to be in my library forever. So let's run down some of the main characters. So you've got Spencer Dales. I already told you about him. At the time, or at the present moment in the story, he's 19 years old, but we get different glimpses of him at a bunch of different ages. So that's really cool. You have his father, Raymond, who, is the typical, you wouldn't call him an absentee father. He's just an emotionally absent father. And there's very interesting dynamics there that I won't get into because I'm afraid I'll spoil the story. There's Aaron, who is basically like Spencer's surrogate brother. He's not a member of the family, but his father accepts him so much that they pretty much grow up like brothers. And I can't really spoil anything there. And then you've got Gigi, who is Spencer's grandmother, and you've got Spencer's mom. And there's, side characters here and there as well. So Spencer, the Dales family, they are one of 10 original families in this group called the Aegis. Now, the Aegis is this organization that is basically administering how magic is used, how it's allowed to be used. They train up like these magical secret agents, right? What's interesting is like the whole agency seems to exist to save white people from mediocrity. But that's not explored so much in volume 1 as it is in like issue 1. But that's a whole separate issue. But yeah, so like I said, Spencer longs for his father's approval. The Dales family is one of the more famous families in this original order of the Aegis. But some things happen that make Spencer question, one, his father, right? He grows up like just not liking his father. But things happen to make Spencer question his father's role in this organization and why he's never rebelled against it. And so, of course, Spencer, with all of his youthful, rebellious energy, is deciding, you know what, he's going to take on this organization and the way it runs. And we get to see that unfold here. We see it through a series of flashbacks. We see it through other character perspectives. Like, the way this story is told is amazing. Now, I have never read a story by Brandon Thomas, and this makes me want to go read one immediately, right? But I had also never experienced artwork by Khary Randolph. What's crazy is like usually when I'm reading comics, there's one thing that stands out over the other. I'm either in it for the artwork and the story catches up later, or I'm in it for the story and the artwork is just bearable, right? I cannot distinguish between the two. There is so much in this book. There are so many layers between the writing, between the dialogue, between the stuff that you just see on the page. It is just excellent. There's really no way around it. Some of the themes that are expressed here, right? Because this book, I feel like, has something for everyone. There's magic, of course. There's action. There are scenes in this book that remind me of like racing home and watching Dragon Ball Z at 5 o'clock every day. Like, there's that. There's family. There's the father-son dynamic. There's generational wounds, generational trauma. There's brotherhood. And then there's something else, right? Now, you guys know, right? You see my face. I'm a black man, right? And this book, I want to stress that you do not have to be black to enjoy this book. All the things I listed above are like universal themes that any person can relate to, right? But there's also something here for you if you're black, right? Like there are things that you can appreciate a little bit more, right? And there's just a few things, right? And I wrote them down because it's just crazy, right? So like you get this scene where Spencer's grandmother is cutting his hair, right? He asks to see a mirror and she's like, don't disrespect me, man. Like, relax. right? Then there's like another scene later where someone comments on how sharp his lineup is. Like, that's just, my lineup ain't all that sharp right now. I need to go to the barbershop. But I mean, it's quarantine time, right? Who am I really lining my hair up for? You guys? I guess I could. Um, but yeah, so that's there. There's a panel here that is clearly inspired by the movie Juice, right? And it's just like, it's little things. It is little things. There is a scene where Spencer's father is reading Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, right? There are so many nods to the culture here. And no one explicitly says this is a black book and we need to stick together, my black brothers, and nothing like that, but it's there, right? Like there's this refrain in the book. It's like, we were supposed to be brothers. And then there's this one part in the book where he says, we're all supposed to be brothers. And it's like clearly referencing like black on black crime and like gang violence and youth energy and all of that. And it's like, it's so briefly addressed in those two panels. And you're just like, yo, those birds are chirping super loud. I'm sorry if you hear that. It's early in the morning as I record this. But yeah, so like I said, you got magic, you've got the father-son theme, you've got brotherhood, you've got the idea that your perspective is what informs your feelings, and your information, your access to information is what informs your perspective. So we get people trying to hold on to anger or block out feelings and block out memories and all. There's not a whole lot I can say more without spoiling this book, except that this book is a 10 out of 10. I highly recommend that you read this book ASAP. You are not going to regret reading this book. So my advice to you is to go to excellenceisreal.com and take a look at all the different options to pledge in this Kickstarter. So for just $50, you can end up with a copy of this deluxe hardcover, and it is absolutely worth it at that price. But if you're like me and you've read the story, you're connected with the story, all of a sudden you want more. Right. And so I had backed this initially as an early bird for like $45. I now have just upped my bid so that I can be one of the people who gets a signed copy of this book, because it is that important. This book, man, this book is so good. This book is so good. You're going to be reading this book and you're going to be like, oh, it's a book about this. And then you read the next issue, you're like, oh, wait, it's a book about that too. And that, how are they addressing all of this? How is it so seamless? How does it flow? Listen. I cannot praise this book enough. I don't care what you got to do. You need this book in your life. If Kickstarter's out of your budget, cool. Jump on Comixology, get this book digitally. Jump on Amazon, get the trade paperback. But you need to get this book. You need it. You need this book in your life. Like I said, I just tracked down all the single issues. I'm subscribed to it, so I'll be following the series in single issues until it ends. But best believe I'm getting this deluxe hardcover, and as soon as they announce the next volume, I'm jumping on that too. Shout out to Brandon Thomas. Shout out to Khary Randolph. Shout out to the entire creative team, because it's a definite group effort, right? I will leave some links in the description of this video so that you can check out the book and maybe check out some interviews that they've done about it. Do not let Wednesday pass without you ordering this book. It's just that serious. It is that serious. So yeah, I've done all the recommending I can do. Just go get the book now. I'll leave links on the screen and all that stuff. But until next time, I hope you saw something you liked in this video. And if not, hey, that's cool. You can always buy what you like. Make sure you read what you buy. And be nice to others, because kindness makes the world go round. Excellence is real. Peace.